Well, folks, the stream is saying I'm live, so this is just a test stream. So I'm just like going through some settings, seeing what I look like, seeing what I sound like, seeing if I can, pull some clips from this, make some videos for y'all. Cause my rig is ghetto as hell right now. Uh, my headphones got like three different plug-ins going on. Um, I need to speak closer to the mic. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about some stuff that I didn't want to necessarily put a lot of energy into making a video about. Not just yet until I can get some stuff going, get better at like some editing, doing some digital stuff. Um, I do plan on streaming weekly as well as a podcast I'm thinking about doing with a homie of mine who got into comics or who was in the comics for a long time. Uh, but I met here in Texas. We kind of, I'm gonna say, have a lot of similar interests as well as a lot of not similar ones. Um, so it'd be cool to just talk to him. With talking to y'all, get like some different perspective going on. He's brought some things to my attention. I brought things to his attention. In this internet world that we kind of discovering or figuring out as far as like this YouTube and this content creation, seeing how the world trying to handle us, uh, how what narratives are being pushed in the media that we love in comic books, as well as these being adapted into like movies and like TV shows going on. So there's a lot going on in the world, and we've decided, to talk about them. My channel has been going for almost a year now, which I wasn't consistent posting videos, but now I'm becoming more consistent and it's fun. So yeah, I want to bring y'all the stream as well when I can just talk to whoever trying to listen to me talk, whatever audience I build. If you ever see me like right now, I got fucking mud stains on my shirt and dirt and whatnot. As I'm into the pop culture heavy, but also my passion is animals, specifically dogs. So in order for me to stream, I gotta, take care of my dogs and handle my dogs around that time. So that's something, you know. But my woman is out there taking care of the dogs now, or the little bit left to do. So now I got time to do this. We'll be watching Friday Night Tights later on, so I'm trying to get me a stream in before that. Um, been finding myself consumed by other people's content, but inspiring me to do my own, to make my own stuff. Uh, but, just got to be disciplined and figure out how to work, the best time to work, when you can be distracted, when to relax, because you got to do that. I'm trying to see right now, like, what does my live look like, or if that's even possible. Maybe I got to mess around with some settings. Maybe because it was private. Try making it public, see what happens. I did want to, well, some of the subjects I want to talk about, um, like Dragon Ball Z, because they got the whole Super movie coming out where I guess they fighting androids, the Red Ribbon folks coming back. Pokemon, because y'all loving this Arceus that's out right now. And they got this Violet and Scarlet just announced, so people all wet for the new Pokemon games. I got my issues with that. While I was a super fan for a long time, diehard fan. But I just, I had to say no at some point. I feel like the games weren't aging with me, and it was an issue. What else? I'm a Digimon fan over Pokemon, but I feel like Digimon messed up a long time ago with how they was handling their games. The PlayStation ones, they came out with some hitters, but Digimon World 4 was complete garbage. Uh, the DS ones were great. Um, and then I guess this Digimon Survive just came out recently, or it's the teaser happened recent. It's been announced. This teaser trailer that they just played like a day or two ago was really the same shit that they showed back when it was originally announced. And it's just some survival. It's a survival, some strategy game on the Switch. So another throwaway game that what Bandai Namco, Digimon, whoever, it's not really believing in. So that's coming out. But I think Pokemon is having somewhat that same issue. Not necessarily not believing in their games, because they believe in it. They know them things gonna sell. But the gimmicks that they got going on, they're just adding a new one with every new region. All these Pokemon that they add. I mean, goddamn. Like at some point you're going to run out of designs, or not necessarily run out of designs. I'm already seeing that they're copying, let's say, like animals, or that designs are already based off of, instead of really exploring new animals, new Pokemon designs. So I'm seeing the creativity or originality wane with every new region. So that's an issue. But on top of that, not being able to, at what point are they not going to be able to put, I see you, bro, streams coming through great. My God, appreciate it, man. All right. How you seeing it? Because I'm looking on YouTube right now and I don't even see it on my phone. But as I was saying, yeah, so the with the new expansions, or every generation they coming out with an expansion on the Pokemon lore, the universe, at some point they're not going to be able to put all of those Pokemon into a game. If they were upfront with that, kind of like how in Sword and Shield, when they told y'all wasn't gonna get all them Pokemon and you was gonna have to wait until that expansion. If they are upfront with themselves and just say that to the audience, like, we're gonna bring out a new game and it's gonna have this 1, 2, 3 regions, maybe. If they did that, but then said like, okay, we're gonna bring some expansions later on with every generation. And of course it's gonna be behind a paywall. I would be, as well as the gameplay, if the gameplay was phenomenal, like the Pokemon game I've been wanting, then I would be definitely okay with that. And that'll be a great Pokemon game. Because I mean, it's only a matter of time. Like this whole DLC expansion season pass, that wasn't a thing until like the PS3. What was that? 360, I guess. Where they start releasing half-ass games, or probably not even just necessarily half-ass games, but they'll release a game and then they'd be like, all right, there's some new stuff. There's some stuff that we had thought about. It was like, after y'all received it so well, now we're going to go ahead and put this out there. That was real new. That ain't happening until, like I said, PS3 and I think the 360. I think that was the same generation. And then you start seeing it. That's becoming the norm. All these different editions of games. They got so much content. Or like bonuses for each one. Hoping that games come out with DLC, which See, like some games do DLC great. Like what was that? Ghost of Tsushima. It was an amazing game with some amazing DLC. I'm waiting on Red Dead 2 to come out with a DLC. That's not happening, but what was I saying? Like the Pokemon, yeah. So if they came out with a Pokemon game that was phenomenal gameplay, and I don't even want to go into that right now. This video ain't for that. But if they just had like phenomenal gameplay as well as it don't even have to be open world, but give me open world enough to where I can then like travel to a different region with different Pokemon. Um, I'd be like, okay, cool. That's them acknowledging what they have, making it work. The gimmicks thing, that's something else because I'm like, I don't see how that would work. But somebody told me that the Gigantamaxing was just like region specific. You can only do it there. I had just accepted Mega Evolution when they came out with it. Uh, that was clearly a copy of Digimon, I think. So I was real apprehensive about the Mega Evolutions. But as I started playing with them, I was like, okay, a lot of these designs are great. It kind of makes sense that I'm not going to say the stones are natural, but that humans would come out with a way or figure out a way to alter the evolution of a Pokemon. Yeah, so I was fine with that. And I had some Beast ass Mega Pokemon like Mega Mawile, Mega Heracross. That's all I can think of off the top of my head. But yeah, that was dope. I've given up on Pokemon though. Um, and same with Dragon Ball Z because they kind of doing the same thing. So Pokemon coming out with this spinoff series that's coming on YouTube or like the internet. And they spinoff series are amazing. The main series, like I still watch it, but seeing Ash with no development, staying the same age, making the same mistakes every season, or every generation. He has some great moments throughout the series, but we're not seeing a maturing Ash Ketchum. And now you got on Pokemon Journeys where he on the team with Go, but this dude catching every Pokemon like he didn't caught a Mew. I don't know if he didn't caught some other legendaries as well. And then Ash finally got a respectable team as a whole. But I haven't really watched this series enough to be like, okay, this is what I've been waiting on because I know it's not. But anyway, the spinoff series that they coming out with, I saw somebody was talking about. Well, I don't know. I haven't seen any information on it besides it being announced on like some Pokemon Direct or whatnot. I will watch it, yes, because it's going to be free. It's going to be online. But I'm not trying to pay for anything Pokemon is doing no time soon until they show me that they're moving in a different direction. But those spin-off series are great. They are more mature, more mature. The animation is better. I don't know who's working on these things, but they are great. They need to keep that going. So that way that the maturing fans who want Pokemon to mature can have this over there while they still cater to the children and the people who just want more Pokemon. They can have that over here with Ash and Go and whoever else. But yeah, that's what I want for that Pokemon. I mean, for like a series to keep me invested, as well as this game that I'm speaking of that I feel like we should have been had at least a generation ago, because the Wii U was capable. I'm not saying it was capable of. You know what? I can't tell you as far as hardware between the Wii U and the Switch, but from seeing Pokemon Coliseum on the GameCube and seeing like Pokemon Battle Revolution on the Wii, and then Pokémon Tournament on the Wii U. I was like, oh yeah, Pokemon, y'all need to up it. Y'all could be doing so much better. So yeah, I just feel like with the Switch, man, we should have already been there, as well as the 3DS and the DS titles. What was it? Pokemon X, Y, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire. Amazing games, amazing games. I want to say as far as Pokemon RPG, they were, I'm gonna say nines out of tens. I don't want to say perfect because again, the story, Pokemon story, could be more mature, but the battling, the online capabilities, like communicating with people, what was it like uh the the old powers where you could like give to your friends and use, that was cool. Just a way of them kind of making this digital Pokemon world actually be represented or implemented in the game. Because these are creatures that can fucking be digitized or shrunk down and put into a little Pokeball and then put on a PC. So to be able to do that and to communicate with trainers through like a device, that was great from those games. And then like what was it? Super training your Pokemon to get the EVs, the IVs, or whatever. I don't know the specifics of all that stuff. My homie was getting me on, and I was doing I was doing well once I entered the competitive Pokemon world. But it wasn't enough to keep me invested, or rather, the next games in the series of main like Game Freak Pokemon titles. The gameplay sucked, and I don't feel like that the competitive aspect was, it was what I was used to, which is what I feel like was the best with those games. So there's Pokemon issues with like the Pokemon games in the series, and why I'm not really jumping at a Switch right now because I'm not into Mario. I like every Mario game besides his games. So like party games where he, like Mario Kart, Mario Sluggers, Mario Strikers, stuff like that. Smash Bros. I'm all over those games, but I'm just not a platformer. I suck. Metroid, hell no. That game kicking my ass. So yeah, I don't have a Switch, but that's the only Nintendo system that I do not, if have not owned or not currently own. I took a stand. I said no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna buy that Switch because when the Switch came out, every game that came out with it, besides Breath of the Wild, which was available on the Wii U, all those games were just an upgraded or ported version of games on the Wii U. That's what Smash Brothers was at first. I'm gonna say that, but that game fucking evolved, and I think that's one of the rare games, and it's probably because Nintendo did it, but where they keep a competitive aspect to it, but it can also be like a party game at the same time. It really just it depends on the settings and the people that you're playing with. But after all this time, the Switch has come with a library that I'm like, you know what? I still don't want to pay for that system, but they coming out with a bunch of games that I would enjoy being able to play on the Switch, and especially having a handheld feature. But the thing is, I'm pretty much home all the time since I got my dog business, so I don't even really need to leave the house. I feel like if I'm just sitting here on a handheld game in my house, then I feel like I'm wasting my time. So yeah, I might just play them on the TV. But nah, people, no Switch for me. Not getting no Switch anytime soon. But if I came across a free Switch, hell yeah. Hell yeah, I'll buy the games. They online is terrible from what I hear. My guy just texted me, told me the stream looking good so far. Okay, cool. What it sound like though, man? Cause I'm not far from the mic, but I don't want to have to fucking lick them up if I don't have to. I ain't trying to be ASMR in here. I think that's the acronym. What's I talking about? Pokemon, my Switch, my Nintendo journey, and how it's been halted, or I'm at a fork in the road or whatever. As far as the Dragon Ball Z stuff, though, again, I really don't want to go into the specifics of these topics because I got some bitching that I'm gonna do to y'all. But real quick for the Dragon Ball Z stuff, I'm gonna say first off, I love GT. Okay, I know it has its issues, but it has the same issues that Super has, and I think that GT advances, not necessarily advances, but more so it actually uses the Saiyan lore and builds upon that, as well as adding newer characters like the Dark Dragons, Baby, Maj Oob. I feel like those were elements of Dragon Ball Z that were already there and didn't have to be. All right, cool. Appreciate it. I think with the addition of characters that were kind of established, not necessarily established in Dragon Ball in the universe, but you didn't have to create more lore to explain them necessarily. Uh it was in the future, so you had characters aged up. So we already had young Pan, Teen Gotenks or Teen Goten, Teen Trunks. Gohan was great Saiyan man with Videl, and them doing their thing. Uh so yeah, GT kind of it still was in the Dragon Ball universe that I guess I'm gonna say we know and loved. But it did, yeah, it was weird. Like nobody want to see Goku, Trunks, and Pan on some Star Wars adventure. Not necessarily. I mean, it could have been all right, but that's some spin-off type stuff. But Super, oh my goodness, these rainbow hair colors, fucking gods thrown into it. They got this crazy power that, like Beerus, they talking about how you can destroy everything but don't destroy shit. These Saiyans having this Saiyan God power, which I feel like that should hold you on a whole nother level. But you got random aliens popping up from different universes, beating the shit out of the Goku and Vegeta. Gohan was trash, talking about I'm about to surpass Super Saiyan or advance myself without relying on my Saiyan heritage. And he just go and get his ass kicked by Namekian in the tournament and sacrifice himself for Frieza. So that happened. Piccolo was just still Piccolo, no better. Well, it just what was one of the arcs was fucking copy Goku, so they just stroked his dick even more while giving you this tiny copy Vegeta arc. But I think that purple stuff was copying everybody, which I didn't like. I mean, not Boo. I didn't like Baby taking over Vegeta's body in GT. But Baby was a cool character in that concept. So I just feel like if Dragon Ball Super would have actually took those elements of GT but done them better, the right way, Super would have been fucking amazing. like not wanting to use or not using the Super Saiyan 4 transformation, the one that's once you control your Ozaru, you know what I'm saying? This is peak Saiyanism right here. And then to go and explain that in the Broly movie by having his father say he's used the power of the his Ozaru form while still in his human form. So I'm like, you saying shit without doing it, and and then a copy Broly. What was her name? Kefla, whoever, whatever vegetable that girl was. Y'all know who was the copy Broly. You introduced her, and then just to bring out a movie and say, oh, okay, real Broly is here too. Like, what was the point of bringing in all these universes of characters that we don't care about when you had a whole earth of characters that you could have been touching on? All you had to do was do what GT did, age him up a little bit, and we would have had. See, this is my thing. We would have had Goku and Vegeta. No, take it back. Take it back. So Gohan was a great Saiyan. That was like kin to the American superhero or the Western superhero. You could have had him on Earth doing his thing, protecting, people, protecting the city, whatever. Have Goku and Vegeta go off world, go into space, and learn whatever space martial arts and more techniques that they want to, instead of fucking having all these universes come here for a fake ass tournament, where ain't nobody gonna die really. You could have had Goku and Vegeta go fight off worlds, to go fight serious threats, to have their power levels out there, and give us Gohan and all the other Z fighters on Earth, showing that okay, now they're at a power that Goku and Vegeta used to be at. So now they're able to handle, or we trust them to handle these Earth threats. When dudes come in like Frieza or Cell, maybe a Boo. But we had Boo, we had Oob. So it's like most definitely like, yeah, bro, we could have had these folks on Earth handling business. The Z fighters, Krillin, Yamcha, TN, seeing them become more of a Master Roshi type level, or just be better fighters, and able to actually kick some alien ass coming in and not being beat up by Cybermen and fucking Cell Juniors and shit. Like, come on now. I mean, like handling that type of stuff with ease. Um, we have multiple Saiyans. So you got Gohan, who's not trying to be Super Saiyan. I like that he said, I'm going to surpass or be better without relying on my Saiyan heritage. Cool. My nigga, be Mystic Ultimate Gohan, and you be that superhero, and you kick ass mystically. We still got Goten and Trunks doing a Super Saiyan thing. Data fusion. So now we got Goku and Vegeta over there, and they probably confuse or do their thing. But now we still have a fusion here, showing that the technique is being passed down through generations. And we got a fusion trump card down here. You had, who was that? Pan. So Pan would have been like Teen Gohan's age, or a little bit younger, she or young Gohan, like during the Saiyan saga and Frieza. Could have had Pan on at that level, but she got a fighting spirit. So she, you know what I'm saying? She probably would have unlocked. I ain't just gonna say kids out here just unlocking Super Saiyan 2 back to back, but you get what I'm saying. She was a fighter, so her being exposed to that and wanting to do that, she could have been a great, that was our first female Super Saiyan right there, as opposed to these two broads from another universe that don't even really matter. You have Vegeta's daughter, or is it Bulla or Bra, whatever version, whoever. So you had her, who was a teenager in GT. Well, she would have to be younger than Trunks, but you get what I mean. Like, what, ninth grade, 10th grade? Who knows? Um, what I'm saying is she would have been capable of actually fighting. And she didn't even have to be a real warrior because I know she was like had Vegeta driving her to the mall and stuff. But you know what I'm saying? She could have still been, she would have been that last line of defense when a nigga came and they beat up some folks and was trying to get to Bulma for some reason. She could have been there kicking ass, and Bulma would have had her little scientific weaponry that she would have as well. Um, who else? It's Goten and Trunks. So they could have been cold. They could have been nice with it. Like a little like fucking Ken and Ryu. Um Oob. I feel like you would have had him as well as Boo in the show for a while, but you kind of see their friendship, their brothership kind of grow until eventually they fuse into one. And then we get Maj Oob. That would have been great to see that play out. You know, the androids, I mean, Super 17. That was another great thing that GT did. If you would have gave us in Super, since 17 was already there, his like other side of him, or Dr. Gero got his other side to make him go over there and make him fuse, make them come together. So now he's Super 17 and he's like battling between being a villain and good. Like you got both little minds fighting. So, you know, he's technically a villain in the show. That would have been cool to see. See 18 out there handling business because her brother is fucking being taken over by his evil self from the past. That shit would have been cool. Oh yeah, her and Krillin daughter. I thought it'd be cool if her and Krillin's daughter somehow, I don't know how to explain this, but if she had the power like her mom to absorb energy, but she's human too, so she has her own energy. So if she could like, you know, has her pool of energy as well as being able to absorb some to some degree. And I just thought it'd be cool if like how Krillin with how he has a destructo disc, or that's his signature move. If she would make like tiny little disc like Beyblades on her fingers and she send them jumps out. I just did that on camera, but you get what I'm saying. That'd be cold. That'd be fucking cold if she was making a whole bunch of destructo disc and yeah, whatever. I haven't thought way more beyond that, but I just think that'd be cool to see the new generation of Z warriors, Z fighters. Did I miss anybody? I mean, Piccolo. I don't know what they'll do with Piccolo. Some people were speculating or saying like in the trailer he's Ultimate Piccolo or some shit now. He getting some new power. He should have absorbed the dude in the tournament. I don't remember what happened, but shit, I would have absorbed his ass. So I just absorbed all the Namekians of another universe. That's exclusive. That ain't happening to every Namekian. But yeah. Who else on the squad? I don't know. If I'm missing somebody, then I wrote a list down of who I would like to see. The 10 participants of the tournament of power. Cause I just feel like some of the participants, team members didn't have to be there. Frieza, hate to see him come back. He decided to train for once in his life and he become the very thing he hate, a Super Saiyan. Fucking golden lizard. He shouldn't have been in there. I think Cell would have been a better or a more logical villain to come back. Because he was so proud, you know, so he would have came back with I feel like they would have brought him back with the intent of becoming a better fighter, not necessarily like just trying to take out Earth, but seeing that the Earthlings have already defeated him, then he's like, okay, I'm gonna train with y'all, but at some point, I might kill y'all. Like I don't know how to really explain that, but if he just went about it like that, like I'm just here existing. I'm not on no fuck shit. I'm not trying to kill people. I simply want to master all of the fighting and be better than y'all. Then I feel like that would have been a better explanation or reason for him to be here and to be a participant in that tournament. And then him saying like, okay, I get to fight niggas from other universes. Cool, you know. I feel like Cell would have jumped at that opportunity as opposed to Frieza just being there selfishly and just not wanting to die. And that way it wouldn't have been another villain turned good. He would have simply been there for his own reasons. And he could turn into a villain later on. Like, you know, if he ended up with his saying like body or DNA could have turned into an Ozaru or some type of thing, or you know, now he has God power. Shoot, if you know, if he ended up did going evil and absorbed like 6 Saiyans. I think you need 6 Saiyans or whatever to get the God power. If he ended up absorbing some off-world Saiyans or some Saiyans that didn't get destroyed, you know, that would have been, oh my goodness, that would have been something to think about. You know, them having to fight a Super Saiyan God Cell. That would have been wild. I'm a streamer for 37 minutes. I said I'm doing about 45 minutes to an hour. It's kind of weird because I'm just sitting here talking to nobody, myself. Somebody will see this in the future. But yeah, I guess so. I mean, that's DBZ. I'll make a whole video about that at some point because that is another property that I loved growing up. I haven't played the last few games because Fighter Z or whatever, it was just like a Marvel vs. Capcom fighting game, just a juggling game. I'm not really into that. And I wasn't finna play Dragon Ball Z Kakarot because Kakarot is the worst character in Dragon Ball Z. So I didn't want to just see the story played over again. But yeah, I want to see Dragon Ball Z be great. This Android movie, I think, is going to suck. I enjoyed the Broly movie, but I do still think that it was trash. Just because they did my nigga Vegeta wrong. But after watching it again, no, it wasn't okay. Vegeta couldn't beat him, so Goku went. It was Vegeta was like, he didn't really beat the shit out of Vegeta like he did Goku. Vegeta was like, it's your turn. But it just was like a Gogeta movie that just fused and had him spaz out on Broly. Just for some random people to wish. Oh, the wishes. Just for some random people to wish Broly don't take a killer blow. And he was out of there. And Goku was like, guess I didn't kill him. Where that nigga energy at? Let me go talk to him and tell him I want to fight again. But then the wishes. Now I'm thinking about the wishes. So the Dragon Balls, which is why I love GT. The Dark Dragon Balls were a result of people making selfish wishes with the Dragon Balls. It made sense. Now you release the dark power. Now you got these dragons that's here to destroy you selfish motherfuckers. We're gonna try this all over again. And now you got Bulma, who is gathering the Dragon Balls to wish that she was 5 years younger. And then you have Frieza, who knows she's gathering the Dragon Balls and is trying to meet, get the Dragon Balls so that he can be 5 inches taller, 5 centimeters taller, some shit like that. And I'm just like, wow. Wow. GT at least seemed like it cared. GT seemed like it cared. Because you got these all powerful or most powerful Dragon Balls and people wishing dumb shit like that. Just selfish stuff. But I mean, hey, y'all love it. When Goku Tony Hawk grind on that girl Kamehameha or whatever bean, he took his Kamehameha and like grinded on it. Yeah, y'all ate that shit up because they replayed it 3 times in the show. And I was like, my nigga Goku. The instant transmission Kamehameha was better than that. My girl just laughed in the other room. She wasn't laughing at me. But y'all know when somebody laugh, when you tell a joke and some random person laugh, but the people you intended to laugh don't. So you just like, I'm glad the universe had that person here in that moment. You like, that was for me. I needed that. But yeah, that's my quick rant about my issues with Dragon Ball franchise. But hey, for you people that see my art and my werewolf character that shows up on some of my videos, yeah, you can tell that design is inspired by Super Saiyan 4. But it's not a full transformation. It's not like I'm going into this type thing. It's just my werewolf character just only transformed that much of his body and still, has this human head visible, showing. You just ain't wolfed his head out. So my werewolves and my story and my lore will be able to, at some point, willfully transform and partially transform. But I don't want to give away too much on that. But if you see my character, that's what that is. Maybe I should draw more human, a more human version of him. But yeah, I don't want to give away too much. That's what I'm thinking though. I play around with that character. I was having some issues with my like I told you, I got a rigged system, but it's working. I mean, got my little snowball mic right here. My PC still holding up, still doing this thing. My homie JT ain't playing, who make the beats for my videos or gave me the tracks of beats that I use for my videos. He hooked me up with the PC as well. So yeah, but I went and got that junk cleaned at someplace and came back clicking and clacking and shit, and I feared for my computer's life, so I had to get that like resolved. But yeah, I'm gonna get back into making some art. Really, not necessarily customizing or branding, but showing me and my personality in my content. That is what I aim to do, as well as create stuff like comic books. Shit, if they're moving to animation, most definitely, because these companies fucking up. This video, I really was supposed to be talking about like how I got into like comics. That's what I had thought I was gonna be talking about. But I guess I'll say that for another stream. Nah, I'm gonna go ahead and get into it, and I can just go more in depth in another stream. So, how I got into, I'm gonna say this comics, this superhero shit. I'm just say that. Okay, so you see this Full Metal wall scroll. I enjoy anime as well as the Hajime no Ippo. I enjoy anime, but I don't like mainstream anime. I'm figuring that out. Uh, but the anime that I do enjoy, people who watch anime like, oh yeah, that's a good one. So like these two, for instance, I think Full Metal is kind of mainstream, but like Kill La Kill, the Gurren Lagann, like the art style of those two, Akame Got Kill, uh, was it Kenichi, Earth's Mightiest Disciple, Samurai Champloo. Oh my goodness, how could I not say that one first? That's probably my favorite anime because it was just like a simple story. It ain't crazy powers and destined warriors. It's just like two niggas that came across each other, two dudes and a female that came across each other, paths crossed, and it was like, and they found reason to continue journeying together, as well as all the hip hop going in, all of the hip hop going on in it. The art style was amazing. But yeah, so those are some anime off the top of my head that I can think of that I really enjoyed. Like Naruto, it took me forever to watch Naruto because I appreciate Naruto because I like the story, but I do think it's a certain. I think they should have stopped a long time ago. I'm gonna say that. When so once Madara was revealed to not be the actual villain, but that he was getting played and pimped by somebody, I was like, all right, this too much. But even then, I think that they definitely should have just stopped it right there. Yeah, if you was gonna do the Kaguya thing, it should have stopped. I take that back. I'm not gonna say that. I think I'm gonna leave it at it should have stopped at Madara. I do like that the Kaguya thing addressed the beginning of this ninjutsu type stuff. But I don't necessarily think that stuff had to be shown. It could have just been lore that the characters know as well as the audience. But that story of Madara and his plan that he, been trying to execute all this time, I think that was a great story right there. Should have left it there. Yes, I don't think the Kaguya thing should have been addressed or shown. And I don't even watch Boruto. But from what I hear, it's trash. But I don't care enough about Naruto to even watch Boruto. I brought this up because I was talking about mainstream anime. The only other mainstream anime I can think of is that I not even enjoy. I just started watching is One Piece, but I've always kind of followed it or just seen what was going on because I love that art style and I like how cartoony it is yet serious at the same time. Like the range of characters. Like I aim to make a world similar to that one day in a comic project of mine. So I admire a lot of things about One Piece. So I've started watching it. But I was talking about how I was getting into comics. So yes, I'm gonna say real quick because I'm only trying to go for an hour on this stream, and I'm at like almost 50 minutes. So I've always read comics growing up, but I wasn't able to pick up like every issue of a run of comic. I didn't even have the knowledge of runs of comics or like that a character had different versions or reboots or whatnot. So I would just pick up books from the library and just read them. So I had knowledge of these characters as well as watching every fucking cartoon that came out and playing all these games, specifically, Marvel and DC superheroes. Um, and it was 2011 when I graduated high school, was when I was like, okay, now, I can go to this. What up, AJ? What up, Johnny's? What's up, man? When did you message me? Okay, 1 minute ago. Okay, man. I'm just trying to make sure I didn't, leave you hanging, leave you dry. I'm sitting there ignoring you. I appreciate you for checking out this stream. But yeah, I was talking about the comics and how I got into that. So in 2011, that's when I graduated high school, and I was like, okay, I got my money, I got my car, I found comic book shops. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm not. Is beholden? Did I just make that up? Is that a word? I wasn't restricted to only getting books from a library. So I was going to comic book shops. But once I went to the shop, now mind you, the MCU was happening. Okay, DC's live action movies have always sucked to me. So I never cared for a DC movie. I have issues with live action adaptations anyway, because I never felt like they truly held up to what I saw from comics or from video games and cartoons. So I wasn't really just drooling over live action adaptations of things that I loved. But yeah, so the MCU was happening, but we were still in phase one, so it wasn't a whole lot of crazy shit going on. It was still pleasing. And I go into the comic book store, and I'm like, okay, I knew about the Miles Morales thing, so I saw him, and I was like, okay, there's Black Spider-Man. But then I'm seeing all these other characters as well, like fucking what was this? Like, I guess these champions. I don't think they were quite the champions yet, but I'm gonna say every character that I knew was not their original selves. Now I can't exactly say when these characters came out, but I spoke on them in my Miss Marvel video. But I want to say like the Amadeus Cho, it's the Hulk. Riri Williams was Ironheart. That had the little black girl with the dinosaur. Lady Thor. I want to say this was around that same time. But so when I went to the comic book store, I just bought stories like you see from my books. Like I don't have issues. This is a bunch of comics that my homie let me get, but these up here, they're all like they're arcs. So I would just go to the internet and be like, okay, what arc do I want to read from this character? What story am I interested in? And I would just buy that. And so that's what I did. I got like some Planet Hulk comics. I think I had the Spider-Man, the Miles Morales about the first volume, but that was trash. So that's what happened. Once I really tried to get into comics tough, and I was like, okay, I'm going to be a diehard fan. I'm going to be able to have these conversations talking about this issue, this run, this book, when you saw this character. But when I got into it, I was like, wow, these are not the characters that I had in mind when I, entered this shop. And these are not the characters that are in the movies. As well as seeing, or with the comic book knowledge that I did have, seeing the issues with the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the beginning. Now, they weren't terrible. There wasn't, I don't recall pushing of agendas in Marvel Phase 1, because that's when they was really trying to sink or hook in all of the fans and get all of that money. And they didn't start alienating fans until like later on. But just saying that the characters that I went to the comic book shop for weren't the characters that I was getting, and saying that in the movies they were making just crazy changes to these characters. Like my favorite superheroes are Hulk and the Hulk and Spider-Man. So seeing in Civil War, Spider-Man I think he was great. Okay. I think he was great. Although that movie was not one shit compared to the comic. Because I had read Civil War before that movie came out. Although it was nothing close to that comic, I feel like that Spider-Man was, I knew what they were trying to do. They were trying to go for young Spider-Man. He looks up to, I guess, Iron Man, which I didn't think that was really terrible in Civil War, but that was just a small little snippet. We didn't really get to see this whole Iron Boy situation until later. But seeing him kind of hold his own against Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Seeing him kind of spar a little bit, go at it with Cap. But then Cap, pulled the little shipping container down, and seeing Spider-Man hold it, I was like, okay, he's young, but he has this natural ability to like fight. Not fight, but again, to hold his own in a fight, as well as seeing him hold up that container. So I was like, okay, so they're showing the strength aspect of this Spider-Man. And also not knowing that suit was Stark Tech that he had, which makes sense now because when his eyes did the little thing, he was like, "Hello, everyone." Like, it was a cool Tom Holland. I don't even know if that was Tom Holland. Was that Tom Holland? Yeah, because he took the mask off. He was like, "What?" He was startled as fuck. But I think that was the best version of that Spider-Man. Every movie after that, where he was in his own movie and where he was in like Infinity War, and that character is garbage. But seeing the Hulk that they gave us was this gorilla-like dumb Hulk. I didn't want to see that. I know that was like, let's say, the first version of Hulk, Savage Hulk, where he's just wild. But it's like they gave us that Hulk. But remember when he transformed in Avengers, he was like, "I'm always angry," and then it turns into the Hulk. I was like, okay, so what is this? Do you control the shit, my nigga? Or did you just get lucky that time? Did you feel it like, did your dick get hard and you was like, this is it. So it's about to go down. Cause then we just started getting just dumb Hulk after that. But then they want to give us Thor Ragnarok, which was taken from the Planet Hulk story, where we would have been able to see a smart Hulk, a warrior Hulk who had like ambitions and stuff. Like, that was the perfect opportunity to give us character development with the Hulk. But they used that movie to push Thor and Black Valkyrie, only to push out Thor later, and his next movie was Thor Love and Thunder, and push Mighty Thor and King Valkyrie. So yeah, I was out of the MCU a long time ago. Just seeing shit like that. No, actually, I had my apprehensions because Edward Norton is my favorite Hulk. I feel like that dude was perfect. Bruce Banner. That Hulk movie was long. It was boring. I guess the pacing was slow. Shit, might got a booger in my nose, but that jump fly out, whatever. But although the pacing of that movie was real slow, anytime the Hulk was on the screen, you enjoyed it. It was phenomenal. It was exhilarating. It was Hulk we wanted to see. So I loved that movie. And then that was a part of the MCU because you had, General Ross went to Iron Man. I think at the end of that one was like, I'm putting together a team. So that happened. But then in the actual building, I guess when it was realized, the MCU, then we got Mark Ruffalo and his thick body ass gorilla Hulk. And I didn't want to see that. I feel like Bruce Banner's Hulk would have been the perfect transition into this World War Hulk that I want to see. And I'm saying me personally. Because that Hulk was, he was slim, he was real toned up, he had the body that was more like a warrior Hulk, not a savage dumb Hulk. Good insight, bro. Even the book, I gotta be work though. Man, I appreciate you just coming here, just listening to me talk, man. Like, this is what I'm doing. I'm just trying to build my audience, get my opinion out there, and find other fans, man. I don't want to hold you up though. Go and get back to work. I know how that can be. But again, I do appreciate you listening to me just speak. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, Edward Norton. I feel like that would have been a perfect transition into a respectable Hulk story right now. And That Hulk, yeah, he had more of a human build, not a savage monster build, but a more human build. And I think he said Betty like once. Betty, I think so. But seeing that scene when he was fighting the Abomination, he wasn't fighting to be the strongest there was. He was fighting to protect. And that was totally different from the fat Hulk that we got fighting the big dogs. You know what? I watched that when I was young. I haven't watched it recently, so I can't definitely say that, or I can't say that it's 100% true. But again, that was more of a savage Hulk. They had that boy running fast though. Hey, they did that thing with a savage Hulk in that movie. But anyway, this Hulk right here, like seeing him fight to protect Betty, which could have easily been his way into, her working with this dude and him gaining control of the Hulk, which he did at the end of the movie because he was like meditating and then he opened his eyes and they turned green. But seeing him fighting the Abomination because he was like, bro, you pretty evil. You a piece of shit. And you trying to hurt my woman. And a whole lot of other people. So when he fought the Abomination, it's just that Hulk felt human. And that felt like the perfect member of the Avengers as opposed to the Hulk that we got now. Like when he did that thunderclap, I don't know if y'all paid attention, but he got bigger. So he got angry. So they showed like that little nod to his powers. They didn't make him big and savage and just get him bulkier as he fought. But they showed in that moment where he had to harness or gather all that rage to save this woman. They showed him get buffer. And his wound was healing up on his chest. So yeah, that would have been the best Hulk to see, and was another reason that I was not super excited about seeing these live adaptations, live action movies, because I was like, well, shit, you just had the perfect character over there. You just had this Hulk, but they say he hard to work with or something. I don't know, but because of personal issues, this character's not carrying over. But everybody else is. And comics is a very visual medium. I said this on a Young Ripper stream, like, I get upset when the next panel art is not consistent. Like I was reading this Hulk versus X-Men, and Hulk got this like this patch on him, or like this blistered up as skin as a result of some mutant touching him. And I saw that over in the next panel. But he healed up from it. Like later on, I was like, wow, that's consistent art. A comic artist has to be thinking about all these things, all these visual aspects, and figure out how to carry them over into the next panel. And what would they look like depending on the angle of the panel. So I appreciate comics for that, the art for that, when an artist does that and are consistent. So when I don't see that in movies, I'm like, what the fuck are y'all doing? And then Spider-Man and Homecoming. Oh my goodness. That movie was so boring. I actually walked out of that movie. Once you realize, yes, his Aunt May was fine. She wasn't even fine. I'm just that's what people say. What I'm saying is she was young and she was attractive. And she lived in like this high-rise apartment or whatnot. Like the boy had it good. So you took away that whole family dynamic of him trying or struggling to try to be a man for Aunt May. That was gone. Uncle Ben was out of the picture, so he didn't have a positive male role model. They replaced Uncle Ben with Tony Stark, who just gave him fucking Stark tech out the ass, only to tell him that if you're nothing without this suit, then you don't deserve it. And he never takes off a fucking Iron Man Stark Tech suit since then. It's like, what the fuck? Like, like, was you supposed to teach us a lesson there? Cause it ain't stick, but just seeing him be Iron Lad, Iron Boy, uh yeah, that was whack. And seeing the race swapping of the characters, not Peter, it was smart. They didn't change the main character, they just changed the characters around him. So they made all them folks brown. MJ, yeah, I said this in another video, but seeing that, and I thought in Homecoming, the title, I thought that was about um him like coming to his city as a like realized superhero, like knowing what he got to do. He with great powers come great responsibility. It's ingrained in him. So now he got to come and kick some ass while being a teenager. That's what the movie that I thought we were seeing. But no, it was how he gonna take Black Mary Jane to the homecoming dance. I didn't realize it. I went in with the nostalgia, the googly goggles on. I was like, oh, Spider-Man, shoot that web fluid in my mouth. Oh my goodness. Like I was loving Spider-Man until they fucked him up. Michael Keaton was the best thing about that movie. His Vulture was amazing. And he's just like, I walked out at the end fight because it wasn't even a fight. It was Peter trying to hold on to this man while he's flying through the sky, while telling Peter, bro, you a child in a grown man's game. You need to stop. Just take my daughter to that dance. Go on about your merry little way. You know what I'm saying? And seeing that the Vulture's suit malfunctioned, and that's what took him down. I didn't even see the end of the movie. As soon as I saw that thing blow up, I just walked out, and I was like, I can't do this. I'm out. I can't do this no more. And that's when I was done with the MCU. So I didn't see the Spider-Man movies after that. I saw y'all talking about Mysterio. Ooh, Mysterio. Oh, he's a good guy this time. What's going on? It's like, come on, bro. It's Mysterio. If you knew anything about these characters, that'd be fucking obvious. And then in the last movie, they realized that this dude can't carry his own as Spider-Man. Even while rocking the Iron Spider suit that he wasn't supposed to have, because he gave that back during the events of Civil War. He still couldn't handle 5 of the Sinister Six, so they had to bring in 2 whole older, more developed Spider-Man into the movie that they leaked. And in the hopes of seeing those Spider-Man, oh my God, the masses charged for it. They ran, man, they died here first into them theaters. They ain't even get they ain't get no receipts, no tickets or nothing. They just dived in into the theater, just gave the receptionist their money. Take my money, take my money. Where's Spider-Man? Point me to the Spider-Man. And y'all folks swarmed and saw that shit. Y'all saw, I predicted they was gonna have Andrew Garfield swing and catch Zendaya because he didn't catch his woman, so that was there. Speaking of Andrew Garfield, he was my favorite Spider-Man. And it's funny seeing, because after the movie, you seeing people say that, oh, he was probably the best Spider-Man. And I'm like, bro, he been my favorite Spider-Man. Now his movie, I'm gonna say this. We pretty much can all agree that Spider-Man 2 is the best superhero movie. Sure, I'll give you that. I can't even say that that's all due to Spider-Man. I think the dude who played Doc Ock and Aunt May, like that story in itself, all of that made that movie what it was. Although that was the best Spider-Man movie, Andrew Garfield was my favorite Spider-Man. His suit was terrible, but I felt like he was most like Peter Parker, specifically the Ultimate Spider-Man Peter Parker, which was the Spider-Man run that I grew up with. Yes, the Amazing Spider-Man was going while I was, coming up, but again, I didn't have the knowledge to like go and seek out like issues or whatever runs. So I was drawn to the art. So that older art of Amazing Spider-Man, I wasn't too fond of, but I think Humberto Ramos, if I'm not mistaken, did the art for Ultimate Spider-Man, and that was, I'm big into art on comics because I'm an artist myself. So anybody that I can like learn from or gain influence from, and to incorporate that shit into my style, I'm gonna gravitate to that comic. So Ultimate Spider-Man was my favorite Spider-Man. He was more edgy. I feel like he was more of a, and because it was a later version of Spider-Man, so the technology was more modern, so like more akin to what we had at the time. So that, seeing him kind of lash out, I know in the very beginning when I think he was at like a party or something, and Uncle Ben came at him. He was like, "Bro, get off my dick, man. I'm almost grown, man." And, like, yes, the jokes when he's like as Spider-Man and the quips and whatnot. So that the hilarity, still being smart, but seeing him like really struggle. He can do the work, but the whole, like I got other shit. I got superhero shit to be doing out here, man. Goddamn, I'm tired. Let me take a nap. So I think that was more so shown by Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, which is why I love that dude. And okay, Jamie Foxx sucked as Electro, but that was the design for Ultimate Spider-Man's Electro. So I was like, okay, they're pulling shit from the comic, that I felt like they did some research, or at least they cared enough about the character to figure out what they wanted to do, as well as the Lizard. His design was whack, but I liked the character of the Lizard, and his design started growing on me. I do think they should have put the boy in the lab coat and in the black shirt with the purple pants. But and the longer like lizard face. But I enjoyed that character so much that I was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? It's growing on me. Same with Abomination. He didn't have his little underwater fish ear looking things, but I was like, you know what? I like what y'all doing. If I'm able to separate this into a movie universe, I approve of that design choice because it doesn't affect the story. It's just how, like you take an artist and they like, I want to draw the character like this. This is my little fan art. Understandable. I do it. So when the movie does that, I'm not mad at it. I wasn't mad at the Spider-Man suit. It was garbage, but they fixed it in the second one, which was trash. It was just too much going on in that movie, and yeah. So the second one was garbage. Okay, hands down. Tom Holland, though, does not compare in any way to the other two previously mentioned Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield. So in the future, don't come to my channel talking about Tom Holland this, fucking Homecoming and No Way Home, Far From Home, all these Disney Channel ass, should have been straight to DVD ass Spider-Man movies that came out with. I ain't trying to hear about none of that. Or not even straight to DVD. I ain't even gonna disrespect them like that. Totally. Okay, hold on. There's nothing wrong with going straight to DVD, I guess. I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs or the the money makeup of it. So I can't really speak on that truthfully. But I think if they would have saved Tom Holland and had him go through his homesick phase of those movies, if they would have saved that for Disney Plus, and we would have seen Teen Peter there and get more adult Peter in the MCU movies, because the events of those movies, he was older. I want to say like college age. I think that would have been a better route, and more people would have been receptive of that Spider-Man. Of course, with some other changes, because like I said, there's nothing about this character that is Peter Parker as we know him. I think he would have been more easily digestible if we would have seen this child on Disney Plus. But then, like I said, seeing a more mature Spider-Man in the MCU in those movies, I think he would have been a more valuable asset as a team member of the Avengers, as opposed to just being the child that he was. And his only input was like some movie reference that he made from like Star Wars and some other movie he referenced. I don't know. That shit it's fading out of my mind because it was just trash. And I would say embarrassing, but it depends on who you ask. Because again, a lot of people love it. But I think I pretty much covered how I got into comics more heavily, and how the state of comics at the time I tried to dive in it was abysmal. So that kind of pushed me away. And yeah, it just pushed me away. But seeing how they continually fuck this shit, now I can just laugh, you know. Now I can laugh. I can still collect comics that are, the stories that I knew, or that I read about growing up, or that was referenced in these cartoons and video games that I was playing. I can still go back and read those stories. Those are not tainted, and they will live on my shelf and in my mind, and I don't have to consume this stuff that's going on now, or this modern canon. But we do got to make sure that we educate this newer generation or people coming up on these characters and who they were before what they are now. And how the all this pushing of agendas was at the forefront of these creators' minds with these characters, and with continuing the legacy of these characters. Just say they've just been depending on the branding, the names of these characters, expecting to make money, while us fans are like treat this shit with some respect. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is culture that you're messing with and changing to fit, or to brainwash or manipulate people into thinking whatever it is that you want to, as opposed to keeping these characters who they were and being this escapism from real life. Or better yet, seeing characters of different ethnicities and different, planets coming together to like save people, to be better people. That type of stuff was like ingrained in us, in our culture of comic books, of superheroes. And now you're seeing people that's telling you to value people, or to value people more or less dependent upon their skin tone or sexuality. You know what I'm saying? It's real weird, and it's disrespectful. Uh, but it's a wonderful time, because once you detach yourself from this shit, then you just go and make your own. or just become more invested in other folks' stuff. Like as I was getting into comics, when I was like, okay, well, I don't see any Marvel or DC shit that I want to buy. I just go get an indie comic. And I was fine. Most people think that comics are just Marvel and DC, and that's where it stops. It's like, nah, it's way, way more than just them two making comics. So yeah, just start picking up other stuff, which again helped to encourage me to make my own stuff, make my own art comics, and being able to have people see value in my work and my products. I'm not saying opposed to Marvel and DC, if you get to that point, but I'm gonna say as well as a Marvel or a DC. But that time is coming. This great reset is coming. Again, it's a wonderful time. A lot of shit's dying, but with death comes rebirth. And who knows what type of powerhouse is about to come out of these creative industries, and eclipse these already established ones who don't care about their customers. But all right, people, that's it for this video. I'm gonna leave my stream right there. I went hard, bro. I said I was gonna do an hour. I did an hour and 21 minutes. What a person in here watching that just hopped in. Unfortunately, I'm about to end this stream. What all I talk about? I talked about some Dragon Ball Z, though, some Pokemon stuff, some how I got into comics, and why I'm not really invested in comics like I want it to be, and how it's a wonderful time for creators, because we're about to change culture. Yeah. So that's it, people. I guess I want to say leave a like or a dislike on this video. I mean, do that after you see it. Once you come in, you want to hear my thoughts, hear who Abomination AJ is, things that I value, what I got to talk about, who am I in just a chill setting where I ain't trying to spurt out a bunch of shit on the camera, on my ghetto ass camera to edit. Comment down below, how I can improve my streams, or what was the quality of the stream. Some things that you might want me to talk about in my next stream. I'm pretty much talk about what I want, but I'm not opposed to considerations or hidden on things that my potential audience would like to know about me. And to catch these streams and any other content that I produce, subscribe to the channel. I'm out.